you guys hear me? Thank you. Be back in 1 minute. 1.5 minutes.
Risk disclosure statement. There is a risk of loss in trading stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, derivatives, options, forex, and cryptocurrencies. This risk can be substantial, and therefore investors should carefully consider their financial stability prior to trading. Past performance is not indicative of future performance. The software, strategies, chat rooms, websites, and any associated websites or digital venues are for educational purposes only and should not be construed as an express or implied promise or guarantee that you will profit or net loss is limited in any manner whatsoever. Users of the information accept sole responsibility for the outcomes of their deployment in most Apple Trader, LLC, and any associated companies, agents, management, owners, and customers harmless without preservation. Please trade responsibly. Commodity Futures Trading Commission, CFTC, Rule 4.41, hypothetical and simulated trading performance results have certain inherent limitations, some of which are described herein. No representation is being made of any account below is likely to achieve profits or losses similar to those shown. In fact, there are frequently sharp differences between hypothetical or simulated performance results and the actual results subsequently achieved by any particular trading program. One of the limitations of hypothetical performance results is that they are generally prepared with the benefit in hindsight. In addition, hypothetical trading does not involve financial risk, and no hypothetical trading record can completely account for the impact of financial risk in actual trading. For example, the ability to withstand losses or adhere to a particular trading program in spite of trading losses are material points which can also adversely affect actual trading results. Because these trades have not actually been executed, the hypothetical results may have or overcompensated for the impact, if any, of certain market factors such as lack of liquidity. There are numerous other factors related to markets in general or to implementation of any specific trading program which do not be fully accounted for in simulated trading or in the preparation of hypothetical performance results involved, which can adversely affect actual trading results.
Recommendations. Analysis themselves, I share trades, potential trades, and I take myself based on my personal analysis. The goal of this service is to trades identify specific areas to trade and manage themselves to optimally the decision is yours. Trading is extremely risky, and if you do decide to follow my personal trades, you do so at your own risk and potentially lose your entire account and even more. And I was profitable when I first used items on my trading accounts. The spreadsheet that I access to is my personal spreadsheet that I use to enter zone values and ATR values that help me pinpoint exact prices for my trades. You can see when I enter zone prices into the master spreadsheet as well as the prices of different trades, whether you want to go long or short. You have the ability to copy the spreadsheet and you can use mine to confirm zone prices and configure the draw zones for yourself. The spreadsheet is not telling you which direction to trade, as it has entry prices and stop prices for both long and short positions depending on which way you personally decide to trade.
Alrighty, looks like I didn't miss much. So I drew this zone. I did remote in on my phone to see what was going on after the beige book. I was short. I saw this. And I can tell it was about an ATR above there, and those are my rules when you get a opposing setup. So this is a bullish setup as soon as it gets an ATR above there. So I just went to the market. Actually, I think I bought it up here. It was probably a worse price, but I did that for a reason. And I'm out of that short. Now this is actually a potential BARF trade and an IZZY trade, but this is a variation of the IZZY. We'll go over here this in a second. Anyway, I got my buy stop into a buy order at 80 ATR. This is actually 2 ATRs if you played the reversion. These 1 and 2 work, and then there you go. I think the 1 worked. So anyway, the IZZY here is this zone, but this is a little bit of an exception where I'll still take the trade, but I'm not taking it aggressively, right? So we talk about these zones all the time. Direct moves into these zones are incredible trades with the volume event. We're in this zone now, but we're basically below balance, and we're still balancing. So that's not the best, inflection zone. It's not really an inflection if the thing just sits here for an hour, but especially below a couple days balance, right? So I will still take this volume setup, but instead of the IZZY trades aggressive, meaning I get in immediately as soon as it breaks an ATR out of that and 15% out of the volume event, I need to see ATR retest failure for IZZY as well. So we got the IZZY in play and the so not only are we below balance, now it's accepting in the zone as well. I'll still take the trade, but you need to see ATR retest failure. And then those longs are canceled. The short is canceled for this particular volume event as well because we already got an ATR above here. So if there's no shorts to this, I'll wait for move lower, a new event, and then I can trade that if I'm going to go short. We cut a little short. It doesn't look like a so you can see this, this market. I'm pretty sure the next move here is going to be basis and comes back to the other side. So this thing's just sandwiched between these 2 market profile composites. Bounce off baby lug, can't get through yellow. What's it going to be? 0 or the bungee jump? The other thing I can do here, so when you get value areas like this, so we build the composites. Composites are value areas that the days overlap, right? Look at what waterboarding going to. So you can see these 3 days value area. 70% of the trade value area. Obviously not overlapping. It's got overlap by 50% or more. Value area. These didn't overlap, but these two did. You can merge all three of those to make one 3-day composite. So that's what I will do here. Draw that one. So this is telling you a story as well. This thing has tried to get in this multiple times today, not happening. Right? Couldn't even get up to the point of control. Now it's back out of that. It's breaking out of that. And it's trying to break into that. So this is looking bearish if this breaks down, especially if it gets through the zone. Then you'd have it. This is also signaling bearish because you have balance. Then you have acceptance, more balance below the balance. And this is about to bust down out of this guy, and through this zone, and heading down here, maybe more, maybe to zero. That'll never get old, by the way. I will say that to the day that I am no longer here. NASDAQ, I'm going to bring this down just a smidge. This zone, again, these are zones. They don't exact prices, pretty damn close to the zone each time. So we will make it so it touches it. There you go. So this is just balance in between these two zones. Build and balance itself. There was a buy and tail this morning, but it couldn't even get into this puppy. This clears this, gets through the zone, zero. So I see there. Got tape bomb earlier in NASDAQ. I was short both. NASDAQ stepped me out, but I stayed in ES. I didn't get stopped out of that one. And then that's actually what I just got out of. Let's look at these one at a time here. And actually made a decent profit on ES. What happened to my ES chart? Seriously. It's just gone. I can't bring up what is going on here. This is usually a time of day I lose internet, so that's why I'm like pausing, waiting to lose internet. Anyway, I shorted off of this zone here this morning. I think I put this on the webinar, if I remember correctly. You got your ATR, your retest for failure. I took it, survived the tape bomb. The stop was an ATR above that, ATR 15%, survived the tape bomb. And then came down here. I saw that new volume event. I got out of some. I put this in here. I think I had maybe 9. I got out of some when it was back down here. Then I got out of the rest when it popped above there. I think that's what it was, either here or here. I put it in the room, just scroll up. And then I had the same short on the NASDAQ, but I got stopped out of that one on the tape bomb. That was this right here. I was short off of this. I think this was on the webinar. I think I deleted this zone, but it was this here.
We're looking now to the early market on close imbalance, currently sitting at 123 million.
We did that. I got short, and then the tape bomb came out and stopped me up. I think this was the ATR retest there, and then that happened, and I got stopped out of that. And then there's been really no other. Actually, there was an event here. I didn't. Oh, this. Yeah, I did draw this. I was waiting for a retest of this. I never got short this. I was waiting for a barf on this one. This was not any aggressive trade, but I was going to short that again, and it just never came back up there, which is pretty rare, actually. So nothing doing in here either. And then I got tape bombed out with the bond. I had one bond left. This still hasn't. I still think this market's going to rip. Actually, I didn't even see this. I just got back. There's more ice. There's just so much activity in this area. This market is going to rip one way or another. I mean, you got to lean to the upside, considering about 15,000 buy ices come in over the last 2 days in this immediate area, counting today and yesterday. This is another. But somebody's selling it too, right? So you gotta, somebody's selling it aggressively and somebody's absorbing it here. Somebody huge. Yeah, what happened there? I filled on ES long. So, I mean, I'm leaning long. The structure looks long. We talked about all this in the morning. Go back and watch the webinar. This thing looks like it's going to launch, but I can tell you what, if it doesn't, we talk about this all the time. What should happen? This market should rip, fail breakdown, held, break out of this, buy ice. All this is doing is pulling back this high volume over this guy, by the way. This should do this. If it doesn't, then watch out. But I still am favoring long. But this is what markets do. They just juke people left and right, and then they finally make their move. So this has not violated anything yet. First thing you want to watch for is if it violates this current balance here with this huge ice that gets below this zone, then something, watch out. I'd be very careful buying it. You know, I'm still a day trader, but I would trade long setups, but my thesis is definitely up and I'll trade bigger on bullish setups. I might do the same thing I did last night where I'll put this trade on and get out at the 4 o'clock, before 4 o'clock, and put it back on in Globex. This is another 1500 buy ice here. The market's just sitting here, but very interesting. I think it's up to here. So I will probably go on again because I have a strong feeling about this. You see me all the time, like on these setups and equities. At the end of the day, I just say I have no opinion. I'm getting out, right? Sometimes I'll hold them into the night if those trades suck because I don't sleep and you can't monitor them. If opposing volume event comes in, you can't get out because you're sleeping, right? But I mean, if I love a trade enough, this is already a bearish setup too, by the way. So this is not even a long setup. This is bearish. This is definitely an ATR below here. So I don't really want to short this right here. You know, if this all happened right now, I'd do it. I'm the day trader, but I'm saying overnight, I'm not going short. I'm going to wait. If this breaks that area I just showed, then I'll definitely hold trades overnight. But we'll see what happens there. Trading bonds most days is like watching paint dry. So, all right. So I filled on this. I'm filled on BARF and on Izzy. Any lick here to trade? No. So I don't, this is not the liquidity I'm talking about, right? I'm talking about big orange bands that have been in here forever. That's what the market gravitates to. All right, so I'm long ES at 80, stop goes at 68.75. I have 9 of, put these in. I do know just from watching these markets for 2 decades, if they don't go, if they don't break right away, like this market's had plenty of opportunities to break and it hasn't, then you usually get the rip. So that's not part of my trade plan. I mean, I'm already long, but I just know from experience of watching this thing, if these sellers can't lay into it and push it lower, get it going, then they get screwed. It happens almost every time, it feels like. Like this thing is done in here. They had their chance. They had their chance. They had their chance. No dice. So that's what is most likely going to happen in the close. And I'm long 2 things. I still think these markets are in trouble, but structure-wise, they don't look bullish. But I just know from experience, if they can't push it, watch out. Liquidity on the 1280. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't. First of all, there's no setup in here, current setup. I personally would not trade towards this. This isn't just put in right now. I mean, it's 500. You know, if tomorrow, if you bring this up and this is still here, absolutely. But right now, it could be just some guy screwing around with the market, right? I want to see it in there for a while. You could, you get something. Because that's a lot. That's a lot for NASDAQ. I mean, look at the order book. You have 15 lots and then all of a sudden 500. So we'll see. Doesn't really matter until I get a volume setup anyway. So we'll see what happens there. What else? Crude, I was long forever, finally got stopped out, but I pretty much scratched the trade. I think I actually made a little bit. Let me see here. I put in there as well. I was getting out if it touched, made 61 bucks. Actually, I had 2 different setups on, but that was this year. ATR retest failure. I got long, sat in here all day. I did get out of some, first, actually it was over here. I put this in the room. This was yellow lug, VWAP, prior volume event. I had 9 on, I got out of 4. And then I held the 5, held the 5, held the 5, and then this happened. And actually, so I was already long, I was long Izzy. That was aggressive. I got in right away. I got out of, I had 9 on. I took off 4 or 5 up there. That was this trade here. That was right there into this zone. Buying tail, huge buying tail. So I was already long, then I came back and I got long the barf on that. I was long. And then I sat here for hours and hours and hours and hours. And then this came in and I was able to trail my stop to the newest event. That's that. And scratch the trade because this is pretty much where I got in. You know, that's how I trail my stops. That's how I trail my stops to break even based on a volume event, not because I don't want to give money back. So first and foremost for this trade, you know, again, like I just said, if they can't push it, usually you get the screw you move. This moves up into here and struggles. I already know this is a huge area as it is. This is a prior volume event. If it struggles at all, I'm out of at least half. I'll probably get out of half. I'll watch this area if it struggles like I did this morning. Remember I had that long on, I got out of some up here. I ended up getting stepped out of it, but I got out of some up here. So it was like a very minimal loss. I'll get out of another quarter there and we'll see what happens. But that's asking a lot in the last 20 minutes to get much past there. But that's the area I'm watching. This is the move I was thinking was going to happen. These guys, man, when these sellers can't assert themselves,
Size for by YM 100 for contracts.
they can't assert themselves. It's like, all right, bye-bye. We're going to go ahead and bungee jump this. So this is actually an area, I mean, this is only, let's see. What is this thing? Is this a baby lug or what is this line here? I don't think that's a baby lug. I've never seen this color line. So I don't usually get out of VWAP by itself, but this is confluent with that. And it's struggled to get in here multiple times. So right now, I will get out of a couple if this thing starts to fail. I'm going to give it a chance. You got some buy sweeps. You got nothing but blue bubbles here. If it starts to pull back, I'll get out of a couple. Yeah, it's only a 5-point winner. I'm not getting out of all of them. But I'm not going to just ignore this area because we talked about this earlier. Because I want 3R on my trade. I don't just ignore areas and hope it gets through there. If this struggles, I'm not out of them all. But I'm out of some, like I did this morning, and it saved me. Market came all the way back, it failed here, and I, basically scratched the trade because I got out of some. So I fully understand the R and the multiples on your risk and everything else, and you need to have multiples when you trade. And when I put on position trades, I think a bigger move is coming, right? I think that we can get to, the red lug and so on and so forth. But I don't ignore areas that I can't get through. I'll get out of some of them. If you just try to hold stuff because you demand 3R, then you do so at your own peril. I can tell you that. So I have 9 on. I'll get out of 3 here if it struggles. Then I'll watch this area to get out of at least 3 more. So this is another way you can use this tick strike too. Like if these things die, we saw this morning up here. Remember, these things just stopped. So I'm not gonna. This is the biggest question. When you get to an area, you're always like, oh crap, should I get out? I don't know here. What should I do? Well, these are the stocks that drive the indices that drive the futures. If these are firing off, you don't need to get out. I mean, at least give it a second. There's some selling. It's not responding. You had buy swipes selling. They're not doing very well. Let's see if we can get one more little flash across the board, some buying. See what the internals look like. Yeah, not much. Pretty benign. This does look like the second, probably the second biggest tick reading of the day. So that's just noteworthy, right? That might be the highest tick reading of the day, actually. Let's see. Looks like it is in NASDAQ. Right, hold on, this is starting to fail out here. I don't want to get out of 3 of these maybe. No, it's not pulling back. So I'm not getting out until I see this thing basically pull back below this bubble. This is where I use the bubbles. Basically the only time I use the bubbles, right? You get people that get book map and they get all giddy because this is a whole different way to look at the market. And they're like trading off these bubbles. It's like the bubbles are just buy and sell orders. It's not like substantial most times. But in certain areas, if they hammer it and it starts to move lower, then I'm out. But you can see they're trying to sell it and it's not moving lower. So I'm going to see if I can hold these. If it moves below here, I'll get out of 3 of them. Take my 5 points. Well, there was something in Dow, but I just don't have the energy to draw the zone in here and trade it. And you can trade it. Well, maybe that's a lot. It's almost 3 times normal. I tell you guys, when you start seeing setups in Dow and Russell, a bigger move is usually imminent. I don't know why you would think these markets mean nothing. Look at the size in this thing. It's 10 lots. You would think like, who gives a flying, you know what? But for some reason, when you start seeing volume setups in here and like bonds, it's go time. So even if you're not trading these, you should still have your alerts up to know something bigger might be coming up. That's that. Hold on here. Let me see what this is doing. More selling, and they're not getting their way. So I'm not getting out. No, that's not a beer I'm pouring. I wish it was. Sparkling water. So for now, you see how this helped me stay in that trade, right? This and that, and I saw the selling and they couldn't push it lower. Guys, I complain all the time about this. It literally drives me crazy. I turn it off probably 3 times a day, but it's so important to my, I've used this thing for 12, 13, 14 years just to know when other markets are firing off, right? But it could really, really eat at you. Even when I have a position on, sometimes I got to turn it off. It's just like, even when it's in my favor. I mean, I am watching all of these, so it does get a little, so that's why I always laugh. You guys want the sound on the tick strike on the squawk box? Are you out of your minds? I have those things set to 1. The thing would be going off all day, every day for all these markets. There's just no way. You would break your computer if you had their sound on with all of these at 1. These are all set to 1 for all of these markets. But this is just a good, you can go over here and look. If you're in a trade in any of these markets, you can go look and you get to an important area, go see what these levels are. We haven't talked about the edge a lot lately. This is really important when this is overbought, oversold. You have this, you have that squawker. All right, now I'm watching this zone here. And I'll do the same thing up here. If it blows right through there and I see this thing going bananas, by the way, like I just said, this is the routine. Sellers had their chance. No go. Buyer said, F off. Okay, we're going to bungee jump it right up here. You know what? Like we always do. So this is.
We're looking again now to the early market close and balance now sitting at 137 million to the buy side.
This is a semi-important area that I oddball if it starts to struggle. It doesn't look like it's going to struggle here. You see these firing off. This is the point of control of this. This is a meaningful point of control. Why do I know that? Well, because this is where this market ripped down from the other day. Here we are. And that's also confluent with daily value area high. Daily value area is 1 standard deviation. These are areas where I will get out of trades. I don't usually get out of standard deviation 1 by itself. When it's confluent with something, I will. But do I have to worry about it if I'm seeing them buy the bejesus out of these? No, sure not. There you go. Let's see if we can get up here. So I'll get out of, I got 9 on. I'm going to get out of 4. On up there. So this is where I don't have multiple markets on, or I would have played the Jeffersons theme song. I told you one of my best friends, he actually got me the job at the trading firm. I'm watching this very closely. Every time he get long ES, he'd blast the Jeffersons theme song. We're moving on up to the top. Like, literally blasted throughout the entire trading firm. It was hysterical. That's where I got that from. All right, so I'm watching this very closely here. I will be out. I shouldn't get out 5 of these. Then I'll watch that spot gamma. This is so close to that spot gamma level 2 that I'm not going to mess around here. Again, I'm not out yet. I'm watching these puppies. I got two different strategies on. I got the lick and Izzy. There you go. I might as well see if we can get one more move up. Oh, hey, it didn't work. What do you know? You got to make yourself laugh. All right, I got out of 5. Got 4 on each of those strategies. Now I'm going to watch this. If this does blow through here, this is really important area. If it comes back, it comes back. My stop's down still below here, unless I get another volume setup. So this is what I mean. Listen, you get to an important area, not a peep. Not a peep and selling. You see how this can help you? There's discounts on my website to this. It will drive you crazy, but it will also, it's also a necessity, in my opinion. EDD was driving too. Let's see. I know we were making new highs in the tick. Yeah, definitely driving. Yep, fix it slower. Let's fix right here, making lows. But not surprising it bounced. This is why I use these as my erasing it out. Whoa, what the? Not a surprise. So this is also going to be interesting now as this comes back. Are these going to be silent? Are they going to be firing off again? If they do, then probably getting up to this. But guys, you see, I mean, like I came in and I'm like, oh man, because I saw I want this to go to 0. I was out of my short, but I like looked, I'm like, okay, cool. I was hoping it never got the ATR above here, and then we died. And I'm like, I came in and I'm like, oh man, I have to take a long on this now, right? It's like I'm not putting my subjectiveness into this. This is the barf trade. This is the Izzy trade for that situation. I put them on. I hated the trade. I hate these markets. I want them to go to 0. I'm a day trader. I took the long. This is why if you just, it doesn't have to be my playbooks. Come up with your own playbooks. Take versions of these playbooks. Whatever you need to do, have your playbooks. It better have the volume setups somehow, some way.
Looking now to the market.
Take those, develop your own trade plans, and then trade them without prejudice. Is that what they say? Without prejudice? Just take the trades. You will be amazed at how your mind will just open up. You're not just crushing yourself mentally. I don't know here. My 15 indicators, they're conflicting here. This one says long, this one says buy or sell. I don't know. ADD is doing this, tick's doing that. Bonds are selling off. It doesn't matter. Just take the trade according to your playbook. This is why we're doing this. This has helped me tremendously too. Now I got everything down where I'm not trying to do everything on one screen, all these different ideas. It's just like, if I see it, I take it. So I see it, I take it. See it, I take it. I complain. I say this sucks. I don't think this is going to happen. I still take them because I know this stuff is the edge. And I'm utilizing the biggest edge in the history of futures trading, in my opinion. So do you have a precise price to go long? Tenements. Have you been watching the webinars First of all, are you from America or are you from another country? Are you foreign? Philadelphia. That is another country as of late. Okay, I talk about this every single webinar, right? I know you're new, so I'm not going to give you a verbal lashing yet. This is what we put in. We put the zone prices. We watch these setups develop. We have thresholds that we pay attention to. When they get over certain thresholds, so for ES, the thresholds that I will trade off of, pay attention to, are 500 for stop runs, 700 for icebergs. If it's less than that, I don't trade them. I don't pay attention to them. Okay. Sometimes you're going to get like back to back. You got to pay attention. Sometimes you'll get like 400, and then a minute later you'll get like 600. You can combine those and draw a zone. But what we do is we draw the zones based on the spike. Show that every day. You take your bubbles off. We'll do it again in the morning. Take your bubbles off. Draw your zone. Figure out your zone prices. And then you come to your spreadsheet, and you put your zone prices in the spreadsheet. The top of the zone, the bottom of the zone. Then you put your current ATR that it is when you're trading it up until you get filled. You got to stay on top of this. Then this tells you the exact price that you want to get in. So when I started the webinar, I said off of that zone on the retest failure, because the two playbook strategies that I took are demand, the conservative entry, which is ATR, retest failure. I knew when it came back, I was going to be, I put my order in and I got long at 80. Then I put my stop there. That's all it is. There's nothing more complicated than what you're seeing. This down here is a different trading strategy where you play moves, and this worked perfectly too. And of course, like I said, they always work when I'm not here or don't take them. These are moves back to just plain moves back to the volume event, because these are just unbelievably, it happens so often. The volume event fires off, the market moves 1 ATRs,
Yes. 101 contract.
1 or 2 ATRs, and then it'll come back to the zone. So we take advantage of that. All right, so I just heard something new. Now I can trail my stop based on this new setup. So Pat, let's watch closely what I'm doing here. I'm turning off my bubbles. I'm looking at my sub chart. This is still coming in. This is mammoth. No, man, I thought it was mammoth. I thought it was over 1,000. This is threshold though. See where it says 780? This is a drawable zone. So now I figure out, I get my crosshair guy. I figure out where did it start and what are all the prices that happened while this was spiking. So you come here, you can see it started right about here, but it extended up to here while this was still spiking, all the way down to here while it was still spiking. So it ended there, came up to there. Then I draw my zone. So I put my top of my zone at the top price that it traded and my bottom of my zone at the bottom price that it traded. You can see this went lower, but this wasn't part of that. So that's that. Then I try to color them to be consistent and know what they are. Bi-ice is blue, or I think someone put cyan. I don't even know what color cyan is. I'm colorblind, by the way. So it looks blue to me. It looks light blue. And I'm trying to mimic what it looks like on the subchart, right? There you go. Now I go to my spreadsheet. What are the prices of that zone? 3995.75 is the top. 3994 is the bottom. Then I plug those prices in the spreadsheet. 3995.75, 3994. That's the zone. Now I look at my ATR. I'm using a 14 period. This is just a default Thinkorswim 5-minute chart on, it's a 14 period Wilders on Thinkorswim. 4.17. That's just saying this market is rotating on average 4 points every 5 minutes. So then I come over here. If you want to read more about ATR, Google Wilders ATR. Read all about it. And I put this in 4.17. Now this gives me my prices. So to make this zone a bullish zone that I just drew, this market would have to trade 4,000. To make it a bearish zone, they would have to trade 39.89 3/4. I am already long, but if say I was long, well, my stop would go there. I'm long, so now I'm going to trail my stop to this price. So instead of 67 or whatever the hell it was, now I get to move it up 20 points, not because I don't want to lose my profit back, because of a new event that happened in the market. Right? This is still coming in, by the way. So this is an example of where you can expand the zone, right? So this was not threshold. This was not threshold. This is the same house. You can tell I have mine marked for yellow. See this line? This is the same person, entity, whoever buying it, and it came all the way down to here. Now I'm going to expand that zone a little bit. You don't always see it like this, but you have to adapt, right? It's not, it's not always, black and white. These are markets, but what I do is pretty damn black and white. It's pretty straightforward and it's pretty consistent most of the time. They're still buying. So somebody's buying the crap out of this. Is this the guys who've been buying bonds the last 2 days? Shift E. Now I'm going to bring this down. I can't find my little, can't find the circle. There it is. Bring it down. You can see this is still coming in. So you got globs and globs of buy ice right here. Does that mean you just go along right here? I do not. Yes, it's always good to have the big money on your side, but we see all the time, big money is wrong. The price is wrong, bitch. Pardon my language. That was from Happy Gilmore. This guy, how'd this guy do down here? The sell ice. Not very good. And you're just, I know what, guys that think they're smarter than they are. Well, you don't know what's going on there. They're getting out of their longs or they're hedging. But I don't care. You just have to assume they're entering positions and they're short. It's all that matters. It's the volume area that matters and how the market reacts to it. So whatever this person was doing, either way, I don't care what they were doing. They did not pick a good price to sell. I don't care if they're getting out of longs or they're initiating shorts. This price sucked. They could have got out 25 points higher, right? So the point is that did you just jump in this sell because you saw sell ice? If you did, you got your head handed to you. I'm not trading gold right now. No thanks. Actually, I gotta run anyway right now. Anyway, so this is the new zone. It's the end of the day anyway, so I'm just gonna hop. I'll let this ride. I'll just let it stop me. Actually, I can't because I'm gonna be on the road. So I'm gonna hop out of this trade. But what you do at the bottom of the zone is 39.93. If you don't want to get out, if you want to sit here for another hour and see how this develops, I think it could make it up to that spot gamma stuff. There's the bottom of the zone. Make sure this is still correct. It's 4.25 now. What's my stop price? 39.88. What's 39.88? It's an ATR plus 15% outside of this zone. And that's where you get out of the trade. Or you let it go. I'm just gonna hop out because I have to literally get on the road right this second and I'm not gonna watch this while I'm driving. So that was a nice trade. And then that was the barf, and now Izzy.
S&P size for 5 ES 964.
So I would probably mark this area on your chart, on your bar chart. Look at this. Somebody's selling the crap out of it and they're eating mouthfuls of ice. Look at this. You don't, if you don't think this is the edge, you're just in the wrong business. I mean, I can't. This is, this is it. This is why markets move, guys. It's not because of lines on a chart. It's because of this stuff. Look at this. So you got 2,000, 2,400, 3,500, or 3,400, 4,000. So you got almost 5,000 bias in this one little tiny area. Mark it on your chart. I will, but I'm out on my positions and I'm out right now. Hopefully you guys are learning. I don't know how more clear I can be on what I'm doing. I mean, it's literally step by step what I just did. So go, if you don't understand it, it might be fast for you if you're new. Go back and watch the video over and over and over. I do the same thing every day, and every day I talk about it like I'm teaching someone brand new. And I'm sure the people that have been in here for months, years, get annoyed, but it's fine. They have to understand there's new traders in here, but I don't know how else I can explain it to be more clear. It's not difficult. All right, guys, I will, tomorrow's the Bookmap webinar, 9 a.m. It's on